Hello and welcome to Top Stories on Viewer Television. I am Patient CD. The National Emergency Management Agency has called for a special budgetary allocation for the recently designed National Flood Response Plan to relieve the victims of flood disaster across the country in future. The Director General of the agency, Mustafa Habib, in Maiduguri, describes such budgetary allocation as a required political will and investment in disaster risk reduction activities. Represented by a Deputy Director at the agency, Mohammed Kanar, the DG is in Maiduguri to present donations by NEMA to victims of the 2022 flood disaster in Borno State. He explains that the agency is inundated with reports of flood disaster in more than 450 local government areas from 36 states and the Federal Local Government Territory, FCT, and still counting, causing colossal loss of lives, livelihood, properties, and infrastructures. The National Primary Healthcare Development Agency and Nigerian Solidarity Support Fund met in Abuja to evaluate the 2021 COVID-19 support program. This is as states demand more funds for COVID-19 vaccination and a steady supply of vaccines to prevent stockouts. The NSSF and NPHCDA entered a partnership in September 2021 to support the COVID-19 vaccination campaign across the country. The goal is to vaccinate a total of 1 million Nigerians in 6 states, Edo, Ogun, Nasarawa, Adamawa, Katsina, and Imo against COVID-19. The meeting ends with the state advocating for more funding for COVID-19 vaccination and a steady supply of vaccines to prevent stockouts, while also promising accountability and accurate reporting any funds received. The United States Army has promoted a woman of Nigerian descent, Amanda Ozubeke, from Lieutenant Colonel to Brigadier General at a military base in Fox Knox, Kentucky, USA. Born in London, United Kingdom, to Nigerian parent Azubuike, joined the U.S. Army in 1994 and became an aviator after passing the Army Aviation Office basic course. Commenting on her leadership qualities, U.S. Army Futures Commander General James Rainey stated that Azubuike makes everyone around her better. And now the Academic Staff Union of Universities is set to summon an emergency meeting of the National Executive Council following the decision of the federal government to pay the lecturers half salaries for the month of October 2022. Though no date has been fixed yet, newsmen gathers that the decision to convene a meeting followed the drama which erupted from members of the union receive half salaries in their account. Speaking with reporters in Abuja, ASU National President, Professor Emmanuel Osodike, confirms the development. The federal government has held a workshop to put in place a framework for the concession of petroleum product pipelines to private investors in order to address the incessant vandalism of the assets. Pipeline nationwide are solidly owned by the federal government and have been under repeated attacks by the vandals, a development that has significantly reduced the country's crude oil output. As part of measures to address this, the government states that it will concession all the assets to private investors with the belief that the investors will manage the pipelines better. There has been rising concern about genetically modified organisms in Nigeria, most recent in a bill to amend the National Biosafety Management Act 2015, which suffered a huge setback at the country's National Assembly because its support or sponsors lack scientific evidence and failed to appear before the lawmakers. Despite these controversies, Viewer Television science correspondent Dokas Bello says the crop is finding great acceptance among farmers and their house. The report.
In this makeshift shelter in Lugbe community of Nigeria's capital Abuja, I meet Abdullahi Inusa, a father of 33 children and 4 wives. This baby, Mashakura, is the youngest of his children. Abdullahi inherited farming from his parents at the age of 7, and he tells me, after 50 years of being a farmer, he has found a crop that promises food security, increased yield, and what he calls the hope for the common man.
Su daina shakkan wani abu tunda ni dai na noma na ci ban samu damuwa ba. Don haka ba labari za a bani ba. Kuma shawarar da zan ba su kowanne wanda yake ra'ayi ya kokari ya nemi hanyar da zai samu irin ya noma ya tabbatas.
Today, Abdullahi invites me to share a meal made from BT cowpea previously harvested from his farm. He tells me eating is believing, so his family is making his favorite meal, sumbako.
You have to find them. Sit down and join them.
It's actually nice one.
Okay.
In January 2019, the Nigerian Biosafety Management Agency approved the environmental release of this bean variety PBR cowpea. The crop is genetically improved to resist pests, particularly the pod borer Maruca vitrata.
In order to control this pest, what scientists did was to look for a gene that was able to be transferred into the cowpea that restricts the effect of the pest on the cowpea.
For Abdullahi, this means he can now reduce the number of times he sprays insecticides that could endanger his life and that of customers of the beans who buy from the market.
To gaba ɗaya nake ga miki da na sa shi na samu sa'a ya tsire gaba ɗayan shi har na cire shi ban batar da lita ɗaya ba.
If you have access to improved seeds, no matter how little it is the land that you have, your productivity will of course go high. So we're encouraging farmers. We have to sensitize them, encourage them to use improved and quality seeds.
A research on the potential impacts of BT cowpea by a Zimbabwean scholar A.S. Langito and Jess Lowenberg de Boer shows that BT cowpea provides farmers 100% increase in yields, and Abdullahi confirms this.
Da na kwashe shi gaba ɗaya na shuka shi na biyu, to shine a shukan nan na biyu gaskiya ba zan iya haƙiƙance maki abin da na kwasa a wurin ba. Saboda na kwasa na sayan na ci na aji iri.
Large number of positive reaction, a large number of positive reaction for farmers. They are just excited.
This signifies that Nigeria will be able to make up for the shortfall of 500,000 metric tons that is otherwise imported at the cost of 16 billion naira annually. For farmers like Abdullahi, this remains the hope for food security and financial stability, and the satisfaction that there is no difference between the taste of the local and improved variety is most profound for Abdullahi and his family. Dorcas Bello, Viewer Television News.
And that's all on Top Stories. I am Patient City. Please enjoy the rest of our programs.